Hello Orchid friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching my video, my channel is all about orchids. From what orchids I have, how I grow them, my thoughts on certain orchid topics, to what orchids in my collection are blooming, etc. So if you want to follow along my orchid hobby adventure, please consider subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification. Today in this video, I am going to show you my first orchid haul of the year, and I bought these orchids from Joseph Wu's Orchids. They are a Taiwanese grower, but I pre-ordered these orchids and then they brought me and they sent them to me when they were at the International Orchid Show in Miami in early January. So without further ado, let's take a look at what I got this time. They did a really good job packing these orchids. In my environment at the time, it was still winter, so they did ensure that there was good insulation in the box. And first up is my forever love Luda Maana. So this one came with 3 flower spike and some blooms already. And this one has been an orchid that I've always wanted ever since I learned about it a couple years ago, but I've never really owned one until recently. And I knew I wanted one from Joseph Wu's Orchid because out of all the Luda Maana orchid that for the photos or flowers that I have seen in person, I really like theirs because their Luda Maana, their strain is so much better in my opinion because the flowers are much bigger and the color saturation is just that much more intense. I was able to visit their booth at the Jianguo Flower Market when I was in Taiwan 2 years ago. I even brought a friend there and I was able to witness their award-winning Luda Maana. The flower was so huge. I think it was like almost 3 inches, 2.5 inches across. It was really big, and they hybridized those themselves. They took really strong Luda Maana and make their own Luda Maana. So it was really special and I really wanted one. This one though, I don't think it's that particular type, but I trust their quality and I just want to have one to begin with just to see how they do in my environment before I spend more big bucks on the cultivar the variety that I want. The second one is also a Luda Maana hybrid, and it's a cross between Luda Maana and Venosa. So this one, I guess the interesting aspect of this one is the shape is after Venosa, and then the flower pattern is obviously Luda Maana pattern. It also has a very light fragrance to it. And the color, because it's a cross between Venosa and Luda Maana, so the color is no longer that magenta red color. It's now kind of like a reddish orange color. So it's kind of interesting. I don't have any Venosa because the flower shape never really quite interests me, but I know Venosa is a very important orchid species in hybridization, especially for orchids that are in orange or with yellow color. Venosa seems to have always played a part in it. So it's a very important species, but I just don't know if it'll be something that I want to own in my collection. This orchid came with a small flower spike. The first flower was pretty much done. The second flower was on its way out, but I quickly took a couple photos and a short video just so I remember what it looks like. And I think in the spring I will repot this orchid. It had a couple leaf damages, but it's expected sometimes. When you're going to a show like that, you're basically transporting a lot of plants, and sometimes accidents do happen, so I don't blame them at all. And I think with proper care, hopefully I won't kill it, and hopefully it'll do well and maybe give us another spike in the near future. The third one is gonna look like somewhere around these photos. So this is a Luda Maana and Gigantea hybrid. So I don't own any Gigantea orchid because it's just too big, and plus, in order to have a big orchid like that, it's gonna take a lot of space and it's not ideal for my indoor growing. And I know for a fact that Gigantea can be a challenging orchid if you don't have the right environment, and you'll just keep seeing leaves and no flower. So I opted with its crosses or hybrids because I do love the spots, the pattern, but I don't love its size. So I think I have a total of 3 Gigantea primary hybrids. They're all growing really nicely in my environment, but I don't know when they're actually going to flower, so we'll see. And then coming up next, these two I'm going to talk about together because they all have Phalaenopsis Joy Sarah Lady in their parentage, and the first one is gonna look like this, and then the second one also has Joy Sarah Lady in the parentage, but is a cross between Caribbean Orange and Joy Sarah Lady. So each pot all has 2 plants in it, and this is something I already knew. When I ordered it, I saw it was specified that it's 2 plants per pot. And the leaves are pretty thick and sturdy, so I'm guessing that the flowers would also be of substance and potentially waxy as well. With these orchids, I am thinking I will have to repot them in the spring because I don't know if they're going to continue to do well together in a pot like that because they're obviously separate plants. I do have other orchids that are mother and son type of situation, and I think that's better. But with these, I think I better just take them apart and carefully observe the roots and see how they do. I haven't decided on how I want to grow these orchids just yet. Maybe because I have 2 of each type, maybe I would use different method so that I can compare and contrast and share with you guys. So the one that you're seeing, you probably already saw, there were spikes. There are 2 spikes growing for one of them. Actually, for this particular one, both plants they all have spikes. So in the near future, we may be seeing some flowers from these plants. And if they do further developed, I would definitely make a video to give you an update. Up next, this is the parentage, and the reason I got this orchid was because of its mottled leaves. And if you took a look at the parentage, you'll know there is a lot going on in the parentage. I think it has Philippinensis, but then it also has Schilleriana in it, and then it also has I think Joy Venus, so Joy Spring Venus. So it has a lot going on. I don't know if this one will be fragrant or not, but based on the flowers of the parents, I think this one would be a really, really interesting one. At least I think it's really pretty. I'm hoping it'll be pretty, but if not anything at all, I love the leaves. I think this one is going to be a near blooming size plant, so we'll see how it does in a year or so. And then I also order a Violacea Indigo. I have other Violacea varieties, but Indigo I've never had one, and I also purchased another Marrier because the one that I have, I really suspect that it was mistakenly labeled because it really looks like it's a cross between Bastinii and Marrier and not a true Marrier. So I went ahead and ordered another one just to see if, if I don't kill it, provided, just to see if the flower looks the same. Probably different, because if they're all grown from seeds and not stem propagation, then they'll always look somewhat different, even though they may still be called Marrier, for example. Okay, so I think these orchids, I will keep them in the moss media for a while, and then in springtime, summertime, I will probably repot them into something of my choice. And I think I may choose inorganic media, my pebbles, my hydroquinone and manto clay pebbles to plant them. And finally, I got another small Sedirea japonica or Phalaenopsis japonica. They're a really slow grower. I have another one which I'll show you in a minute. It's a lot bigger, and I have had it for about 3 years, and it's still a small plant, and it hasn't flowered yet. And I got another one because I want my other location in the house to have another small plant. So that's my plan. Gosh, you just need to have patience with Sedirea japonica. This is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to get more orchid related videos from my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification. I want to wish you happy growing, and I will talk to you in my next video. Ciao!